From being a vilified royal mistress to the woman who will now shape the future of the monarchy, Camilla Parker Bowles has come a long way in the eyes of her nation and the world.
I'm 75 now and I can't remember anybody except the Queen being there.
The King toasting the next phase of the relationship.
Waving to the thousands of people who are thronging the Mall, who have braved the rain and are here to witness an historic moment.
So picture this. Royal tea is being spilled again. But this time, it's not about Meghan, Harry, or Prince Andrew sneaking off somewhere awkward. No, this one's got the Queen Consort herself, Camilla, absolutely fuming. And let's just say, she didn't exactly keep it classy behind palace doors. Why? Well, it all started when little Princess Charlotte was quietly handed a royal title.
Did you know that 7-year-old Princess Charlotte has been described as having the same shy yet fun personality as her grandmother?
Princess Charlotte had an important royal duty of her own.
One that Camilla very much expected to be saved for her granddaughter. Yep, you heard that right. The royal family just lit a match next to a pile of very old, very flammable family tension. And do you think Camilla took it in stride like a seasoned royal?
And feeling that fear every single day. And then I suppose they think to themselves, well, maybe that there is a way out.
Oh no, she lost it. And insiders say things got shockingly icy, even for the Windsors. Because here's the thing, when you start playing royal favorites, especially when the kids are involved, you're not just ruffling feathers, you're unleashing decades of buried resentment, ambition, and yes, jealousy. So, what really happened? And did it end, or should we expect more drama? You are about to find out. The crown skips a generation. In a move that has stunned royal watchers and reignited palace tensions, 10-year-old Princess Charlotte, granddaughter of the late Princess Diana, has been unexpectedly granted a prestigious royal title, one that many believed was destined for Prince Edward, the Queen's youngest son. The decision not only shocked royal experts, but also left a trail of confusion, disappointment, and, reportedly, one very angry Queen Consort. Traditionally, the Duke of Edinburgh title, vacant since the passing of Prince Philip, was expected to go to Edward. After all, that was the late Queen and Philip's stated wish years ago. Edward, the youngest of Elizabeth II's children, has long been seen as a quiet, loyal member of the firm. Unlike his more flamboyant siblings, Edward kept a low profile, focused on royal duties, and maintained a relatively scandal-free reputation. His upbringing, though privileged, was steeped in service, and for years, it was accepted wisdom that he would eventually inherit his father's dukedom.
King Charles has named his youngest brother, Prince Edward, the Duke of Edinburgh, a title held, of course, by his late father, Prince Philip, for more than 70 years. It had been the late Prince's wish for Prince Edward to be granted the dukedom after his death.
So, when Buckingham Palace made the surprise announcement that the title was instead being granted to young Princess Charlotte, the public reaction was immediate and loud. Social media lit up. News outlets scrambled to get the scoop. Royal fans across the globe either celebrated the decision as a fresh, forward-looking choice or raised eyebrows at what felt like a sharp break from tradition. Royal experts admitted they didn't see it coming. The excitement surrounding Charlotte's new title was palpable. After all, it's not every day a child becomes one of the most senior female royals in line for the throne. But behind the scenes, the mood was far less jubilant. Palace insiders say that while William and Kate were privately overjoyed about the recognition of their daughter's place in the future of the monarchy, not everyone in the royal family shared their enthusiasm. And the most vocal among the disappointed? Camilla, the Queen Consort. Sources close to the palace claim Camilla was furious upon learning of the announcement, not because she disapproved of Charlotte per se, but because she believed one of her grandchildren should have been honored instead. In her mind, the title wasn't just about tradition, it was about recognition, legacy, and inclusion. And she had worked tirelessly to integrate her family into royal life, often going the extra mile to show that her grandchildren were just as deserving of respect and status. But when the decision to give Charlotte the title was made, Camilla wasn't just overlooked, she was left completely in the dark. According to insiders, the title choice was quietly discussed between King Charles, Prince William, and Princess Catherine. The trio agreed that bestowing the title on Charlotte was a symbolic nod to the monarchy's future.
Who's the boss? Princess Charlotte. It can be tough being the daughter of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, not least of which because your life is very public.
A strategic move that emphasized continuity through Diana's bloodline. They believed Charlotte had the potential to play a major role in the monarchy going forward. But no one thought to inform Camilla beforehand. She reportedly found out the same way the rest of the world did, through the media. To say she was blindsided would be an understatement. Sources say she felt deeply betrayed. After years of carefully rebuilding her public image, taking on increasingly visible royal duties, and trying to solidify a place for her children and grandchildren in the royal narrative, Camilla was left out of one of the most significant decisions in recent royal history. And worse, it wasn't just that her grandchildren didn't receive recognition. Charlotte received all of it, placing her above everyone else. Now, the palace is said to be trying to manage the fallout quietly. But one thing is clear. This wasn't just about a title. It was about loyalty, legacy, and a battle between old traditions and a very modern monarchy. And Camilla? She's not letting it go anytime soon. Camilla's breaking point.
Do you think Mrs. Parker Bowles was a factor in the breakdown of your marriage?
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
She was the villain. She was the third person in the marriage. She needed to rehabilitate her image.
For decades, Camilla Parker Bowles worked tirelessly to transform her public image. From the woman branded a royal homewrecker to Queen Consort of the United Kingdom. She endured years of public scorn, endless comparisons to Diana, the beloved people's princess, and a media storm that would have broken almost anyone else. But Camilla held on. She stayed quiet, composed, and dignified, slowly reshaping public perception with carefully managed appearances, charity work, and unwavering loyalty to King Charles. She fought hard to carve out her place in a monarchy that never truly welcomed her. And just when it seemed she had finally secured her legacy at the heart of the royal institution, everything came undone with a single announcement. Princess Charlotte, 10 years old, would be given the title many assumed would go to Camilla's own grandchildren. Charlotte isn't just any royal child. She is Princess Diana's eldest granddaughter. Her smile, confidence, and growing public profile all echo her late grandmother's legacy. The symbolism of giving such a powerful title to Diana's granddaughter wasn't lost on anyone, least of all Camilla. It stung deeply. When the news broke, palace staff expected Camilla to keep her usual composure. But that's not what happened. According to multiple insiders, the Queen Consort lost it.
I'm completely hopeless at it. I was a really bad actor at school, and I've never been able to master the art of mimicry. But
slamming doors echoed through the corridors of Clarence House. Decorative items were reportedly thrown. She was seen pacing, yelling, and at one point, wailing loudly. It wasn't just anger. It was heartbreak, humiliation, a moment of raw emotion from a woman who had spent most of her life swallowing her pride for the sake of royal duty. One staff member reportedly overheard her shouting, "We will never be one of them!" The outburst shocked those around her. Camilla, who had long tried to position her family as part of the royal future, suddenly saw everything differently. To her, this wasn't about Charlotte. It was about what Charlotte represented. The continuation of Diana's line.
HIV does not make people dangerous to know. So you can shake their hands and give them a hug. Heaven knows they need it.
The crown's subtle but undeniable preference, and a reminder that no matter what title she held, her family would always be viewed as outsiders. Camilla has always believed she had to earn her place twice as hard, and with half the acceptance. Her children and grandchildren were never raised royal, but she hoped they'd be folded into the firm over time. She worked to elevate their status quietly, behind the scenes. But this decision shattered that hope. Palace insiders say her emotional explosion lasted about 20 minutes. When she finally left the room, she didn't return, and the silence that followed spoke louder than her fury. The Queen Consort had, in that moment, dropped her carefully crafted royal mask. But by then, the damage was done. Word spread like wildfire through the palace. "The Queen's lost control," whispered staff members, shocked by what they had witnessed. The royal family is built on tradition, protocol, and above all, restraint. A public meltdown from someone in Camilla's position is almost unheard of. Her reaction wasn't just emotional, it was unprecedented. Some within the palace understood her pain. Others saw it as a sign that the old tensions, the ones the monarchy had tried so hard to bury, were still very much alive. The Queen may sit beside the King, but the scars of the past haven't fully healed, and the legacy of Diana continues to cast a long, unshakable shadow over Camilla's place in royal history. Two worlds, one crown.
Wow, look at that food. This is a chance for the prince to support the king as he prepares for his big day.
Inside the royal family, not all grandchildren are raised equally, and no one knows that better right now than Queen Camilla. While Prince William and Princess Kate's children are being meticulously groomed for future royal duties, Camilla's own grandchildren exist almost entirely outside of that royal spotlight. The difference isn't just noticeable, it's painful. And for Camilla, the recent decision to elevate Princess Charlotte with a prestigious title, while her own grandchildren remained completely overlooked, has reportedly struck a deep personal blow. Princess Charlotte, at just 10 years old, is already one of the most recognizable young royals in the world. She walks red carpets, attends state events, and appears on royal balconies with a confidence that mirrors her late grandmother, Princess Diana. Every birthday photo, every wave to the crowd, every candid moment at public events, Charlotte's presence is both celebrated and scrutinized, a sign of how important she is to the monarchy's future. By contrast, Camilla's grandchildren are rarely seen and hardly ever mentioned. Camilla has 5 grandchildren from her 2 children, Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes. Among the most well-known is Eliza Lopes, who briefly stepped into the public eye as a flower girl at Prince William and Kate's wedding in 2011. Her moment on the Buckingham Palace balcony, standing between the bride and groom, charmed the world. But it was fleeting. Since then, Eliza and her siblings, Gus, Louis, Lola, and Freddie have remained mostly out of sight, growing up in private, far from royal events, titles, and attention. Camilla herself has been open in the past about her love for her grandchildren, describing how she bakes with them, reads to them, and treasures their time together. But love and visibility are two very different things in the royal world. While Charlotte is positioned front and center, Camilla's grandchildren are firmly kept on the sidelines. And that difference is precisely what cut so deep when Charlotte was granted the prestigious title many assumed would go to someone older, possibly even a member of Camilla's own family. Watching her granddaughter be overlooked entirely, while Diana's granddaughter was celebrated and crowned with new responsibility, reportedly wounded Camilla's pride more than she ever expected. Her children, Tom and Laura, have also kept low profiles. Tom, a food writer and critic, has occasionally appeared at public events, but has never been considered a working royal. Laura, an art curator, has stayed even further from the limelight. Their children, though part of the royal family through marriage, have never been offered royal titles or roles. And Camilla, despite being queen consort, has never pushed aggressively for them to be included. But this latest move may have exposed just how much that quiet exclusion has built up over time.
Since the 50s, the 60s, we've made huge strides. Obviously, there's a lot more to be made.
Meanwhile, Kate Middleton has played a very different game. Strategic, composed, and forward-thinking, Kate has ensured her three children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, are not just seen, but prepared. Every public appearance is deliberate, every role carefully assigned. It's clear that she, alongside William and King Charles, is helping shape the monarchy's next chapter, and her children are its main characters. The contrast is stark. One set of grandchildren raised in palaces, molded into royal figures with media attention and titles to match. The other, living private lives, mentioned only in passing, were never truly embraced as part of the royal machine. For Camilla, that reality may have always been in the background. But with Charlotte's elevation, it became impossible to ignore. The divide between the official royal grandchildren and the unofficial ones isn't just personal anymore. It's public. And for a woman who spent decades fighting for acceptance, the silence surrounding her own family speaks volumes. The crown, the conflict, and the ghost of Diana.
What effect did the depression have on your marriage?
Well, it gave everybody a wonderful new label. It's Diana's unstable and Diana's mentally imbalanced.
Even with a crown atop her head, Queen Camilla can't escape the shadow of the past. Her name, however carefully she has tried to redefine it, remains forever linked to one of the most painful chapters in royal history: the collapse of Charles and Diana's marriage. And now, in the middle of a fresh royal storm involving grandchildren, prestige, and legacy, that shadow looms larger than ever. At the center of it all sits King Charles, Camilla's husband, and Princess Charlotte's grandfather, caught between the woman he fought decades to legitimize and the future he must now safeguard. The decision to grant young Princess Charlotte a title long assumed to be destined for Prince Edward, and one Camilla hoped might be redirected toward her own grandchildren, has cracked open old wounds. But what stings most isn't just the snub, it's the realization that Charles approved it. According to insiders, he knew exactly how Camilla would react. He understood the emotional weight behind it, and still, he signed off. Because the crown, for all its tradition and ceremony, is a machine that only survives with public approval. And Charles knows that. Despite all his efforts to protect Camilla from media attacks, to usher her into royal acceptance, and to raise her profile from the shadows of scandal to the spotlight of queenship, there are lines even he cannot ignore.
I know she will bring to the demands of her new role the steadfast devotion to duty on which I have come to rely so much.
The future belongs to William, Kate, and their children. That's what the public supports. That's where the monarchy's survival lies. So, Charles made his choice, but it's come at a cost. Tensions between the king and queen consort have reportedly spiked since the announcement. Their public appearances remain polished, but behind the scenes, Camilla has been spending noticeably more time at her private residence, Ray Mill House, away from the palaces and the royal schedule. Sources close to the couple say that while they haven't had explosive arguments, the silence has been chilling. Camilla feels blindsided, betrayed, not just by the institution, but by the man who was once her fiercest defender. And it's not hard to see why. Charles spent decades shielding Camilla from the worst of public scrutiny. When their affair first became public knowledge, Camilla was vilified. Diana, beautiful and beloved, was the wronged wife, the people's princess, whose every word and tear captured the world's sympathy. Camilla, in contrast, was labeled the other woman, the interloper, the reason the fairy tale crumbled. Still, Charles stood by her. Even after Diana's tragic death, he pushed for Camilla's acceptance. Against the advice of friends, family, and even advisors, he married her in 2005. When he ascended the throne, he didn't just make her his consort, he made her queen. But not even the title of queen could rewrite public memory.
Gave this ring, a symbol of royal dignity and a sign of the covenant sworn this day.
Camilla's legacy has always been complicated, and this latest episode has only made that truth more glaring. Princess Charlotte, a child with Diana's blood, is now being positioned as a central figure in the monarchy's future, while Camilla's family remains sidelined. The symbolism is impossible to ignore. It's not just a title, it's a passing of the torch from one legacy to another. Charles knows what's at stake. He understands that the monarchy, already walking a tightrope of public relevance, cannot afford another misstep. He made a decision for the institution, but in doing so, he may have wounded the very person he once fought the world to protect. Charlotte, the royal bridge to the future. In a monarchy struggling to stay relevant in a rapidly changing world, 10-year-old Princess Charlotte has quietly emerged as its most unexpected but vital asset. She isn't just a royal child. She's a symbol, one the crown desperately needs, a bridge between the legacy of the past and the promise of the future. When the decision was made to bestow a significant royal title upon Charlotte, it was more than a ceremonial gesture. It was a strategic move. The monarchy chose her not simply because of her lineage, but because she represents something even more important: connection. In today's world, crowns and castles mean little without public favor. Titles don't command respect. They have to earn it. And Charlotte, with her grace, charm, and unmistakable star power, is already doing just that. It's why the monarch, alongside Prince William and Princess Kate, settled on her. They passed over Prince Edward, the Queen's youngest son, whose years of loyal service and quiet dignity were long expected to be rewarded. They passed over Camilla's grandchildren, who live comfortably out of the public eye. They even bypassed tradition itself, because tradition alone can no longer carry the royal family forward. Charlotte can. She carries the bloodline of Princess Diana, an enduring figure of elegance, compassion, and humanity. In so many ways, Charlotte mirrors her late grandmother. Even at a young age, she possesses a poised confidence beyond her years. Whether walking alongside her brothers at royal events, sharing a cheeky smile with photographers, or offering a polite curtsy that melts hearts around the world, Charlotte captivates in a way that's almost impossible to teach.
She was quite known for her feisty personality.
She has what many call the Diana effect, an ability to connect not just with royal watchers, but with people. And that, more than lineage or protocol, is what matters now. The world no longer reveres royalty for its titles. Respect must be earned, not assumed. For the monarchy to survive, it must find figures who resonate with the modern public. Charlotte offers that in abundance. She's young, relatable, photogenic, and full of promise. In her, the crown sees a chance to reclaim affection and loyalty from a skeptical generation. On the other hand, Camilla's family, though privately cherished by her, represents a fading chapter, not a forward-looking one. Her grandchildren, while undoubtedly loved and well-raised, are not public figures. They were not born into the royal institution, nor were they groomed for duty. They live ordinary lives in a very extraordinary family. And in the eyes of the monarchy, they offer no real return on legacy or relevance. Camilla herself, despite her title, will always carry the baggage of history. Her place in the royal narrative was forged in scandal, and though she has worked tirelessly to transform her image, public sentiment remains divided. Her legacy, and that of her children and grandchildren, ends with her. The crown has no strategic interest in extending that legacy. Charlotte, however, is a future queen in the making, not in title, but in spirit. She embodies modernization, continuity, and public appeal. Her lineage connects the institution to Diana, to a time when the monarchy felt truly human. That's the energy the crown wants to bottle and carry forward. That's why Charlotte was chosen, not just over Camilla's family, but over Edward, tradition, and everything that used to define royal succession. In all honesty, it's hard to compete with someone like Charlotte. She's elegant without effort, confident without arrogance, and able to command attention without saying a word. That's rare. That's royal. And in the eyes of a monarchy desperate to evolve, it's everything.
Know that as much as we have now the reign of King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla, the future is William and Kate.
And their children as well.
The tiara tension, Charlotte, Diana's legacy, and Camilla's fury. In yet another move that has stirred quiet but unmistakable tension behind palace doors, royal insiders have confirmed that Princess Charlotte is being lined up to inherit one of the most iconic heirlooms in royal history, Princess Diana's Spencer tiara. A family jewel belonging to the Spencers, not the official royal collection, the tiara holds profound sentimental value and is famously remembered as the dazzling crown Diana wore on her wedding day in 1981. It's a symbolic gesture, one that strengthens Charlotte's link to the grandmother she never met, and further roots her within the hearts of a public that still adores the late Princess of Wales. But not everyone is celebrating. One royal in particular is said to be deeply unimpressed, Queen Camilla. Sources suggest Camilla is not amused by the idea of a Spencer family heirloom finding its way into royal hands through Charlotte. Her apparent view is that since the tiara isn't part of the crown jewels, It shouldn't be absorbed into the public-facing royal narrative, especially not through Diana's bloodline. But this is where things become uncomfortable and glaringly hypocritical. While Camilla voices disapproval over Charlotte wearing the Spencer tiara, she herself has been seen multiple times adorned in Diana's jewelry. The late princess owned several pieces gifted by the royal family, including sapphires, pearls, and brooches that have since found their way into Camilla's collection. Her public appearances wearing these pieces have often sparked backlash, particularly from fans who view Diana's memory as sacred and her jewels as off-limits. So, when Camilla criticizes Charlotte's connection to the Spencer's tiara, it feels personal, not principled. To many, it seems like another attempt to prevent Diana's legacy from gaining more ground within the royal family, especially through Charlotte, who increasingly resembles the people's princess in charm and symbolism. The tiara isn't just a piece of jewelry, it's an emotional bridge, one that connects Charlotte to the woman who changed the very nature of royalty. The forever legacy.
25 years she's been gone and people still remembering her every day, like myself. I came here in 1997 when all the flowers were everywhere.
She was a princess, a rebel, and a mother who lived her short life in the glare of the cameras.
Could I ask you to respect my children's space?
Until suddenly, her light went out.
Princess Diana's influence wasn't just about fashion and glamour, it was about impact. She redefined royal duty through compassion and courage. She walked through landmine fields in Angola with the Halo Trust, embraced HIV/AIDS patients when others wouldn't, and became a global symbol for empathy. Her patronages ranged from Great Ormond Street Hospital to Centrepoint for the homeless. In 1997, just before her tragic death, she auctioned off dozens of her evening gowns to raise money for AIDS and cancer charities, because she believed that even in fashion, she could make a difference. She wasn't just admired, she was loved. Time magazine once called her the most influential charity figure of the 20th century. And to this day, her humanitarian legacy continues to inspire generations. Passing her tiara to Charlotte isn't just about beauty or tradition, it's about passing the torch. Camilla, for all her efforts to step into a new role, can't rewrite that history. And that, perhaps, is what truly bothers her. She spent years trying to reposition herself within the royal narrative, quietly and carefully shedding the image of the other woman and stepping into the queen consort's shoes with as much dignity as she could muster. But Diana's memory refuses to fade, and now, through Charlotte, it's only growing stronger. To many royal observers, the tiara handover is poetic. It signals continuity not of power but of purpose, compassion, and legacy. And it reminds everyone that, crown or no crown, Diana's spirit remains one of the most defining forces within the House of Windsor. Whether Camilla accepts it or not, the monarchy is moving forward, with Charlotte wearing not just a tiara, but the heart of a princess the world still misses. Diana's legacy lives on, and Charlotte is the future.
Every Mind Matters, obviously it's in its sort of second guise now coming out. We got a lot of feedback from the NHS and from others that people were accessing the online plan.
I didn't know anything about mental health. I really didn't. And I immersed myself in this topic because we realised and identified that this was a key social problem. Not just for the UK, this was global.
Princess Diana's legacy didn't end with her tragic passing in 1997. It lives on powerfully through her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, who have both devoted their lives to causes close to her heart. Now, that legacy appears to be finding a new torchbearer, Princess Charlotte. Diana broke royal boundaries not just by what she wore, but by how she cared. Her deep commitment to humanitarian work, particularly her groundbreaking efforts in mental health awareness, paved the way for a more emotionally connected monarchy. And today, both William and Harry continue that mission with passion. Prince William has made mental health one of his top priorities. Through initiatives like Heads Together and the mental health-focused work of the Royal Foundation, he's helped shift the narrative around emotional well-being in the UK and beyond. Prince Harry, too, has carried this torch with organizations like Better Up and the Invictus Games, emphasizing mental resilience, therapy, and trauma recovery, especially among veterans. And just as Diana changed perceptions of what it meant to be a royal mother, her influence is also clearly seen in their wives. Kate Middleton, now the Princess of Wales, is often compared to Diana, not just for her poise and public warmth, but for her evolving role as a modern royal. From championing early childhood development to supporting mental health through the Shaping Us campaign, Kate has carved out a public identity rooted in care, intelligence, and quiet strength. Her iconic fashion sense, too, echoes Diana's, elegant but impactful. Diana's famous blue sapphire engagement ring, now worn by Kate, remains one of the most talked-about royal heirlooms in modern history. Meghan Markle, for her part, also walked the Diana path, albeit her own way. A vocal advocate for women's rights, mental health, and racial equality, Meghan brought emotional vulnerability and outspoken activism to the royal stage, a move that earned her both admiration and criticism. She, too, was often likened to Diana for her willingness to speak out and challenge royal convention. And now, all eyes are on Charlotte. The young princess doesn't just carry Diana's blood, she carries the public's hope. With her growing poise, unmistakable confidence, and natural charisma, many are already drawing comparisons between Charlotte and her late grandmother. From her graceful waves to her cheeky smiles, Charlotte has that something that draws people in, a trait Diana had in abundance. It's no surprise, then, that royal planners are already envisioning a central role for Charlotte in the future of the monarchy. Her recent elevation to a prestigious title only confirms it. She isn't just the king's granddaughter, she's the next generation's Diana, a royal born in a new world but tethered to the most beloved figure in royal history. Of course, not everyone is happy with this new direction. Camilla's disappointment has been evident. After years of trying to integrate her own family into royal life, watching Charlotte rise while her grandchildren are left out has reportedly stung deeply. Her frustrations, her outbursts, and her growing distance from King Charles all speak to a woman who thought her crown would open doors for her children, and instead watched them remain firmly shut. Yet King Charles has made his position clear. The monarchy must evolve. He has stood by William, by Kate, and now by Charlotte, not out of favoritism, but out of necessity. The monarchy no longer runs on tradition, it runs on relevance. And so, Charlotte steps forward, not just as a child of the present, but as a face of the future. The question is no longer if she will play a significant role in shaping the monarchy, it's how soon. And as the shadows of the past continue to echo through palace halls, one final question remains. Can Princess Charlotte truly carry the crown and Diana's legacy with the same grace that once made the world stop and watch? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section below. And that's it from us today. Until next time, thank you for watching.